So I'm wearing a shirt, our ugly Christmas sweater that looks like a tree. It has a hood on it that has a star on it for everybody in
You're a
audience.
tree.
So, yeah, I'm David Cohn today.
Yeah.
I'm an absolute tree. So everybody needs to go to YouTube and Crane & Company and subscribe and look at how I look. And you two guys look good in your ugly Christmas sweaters, but mine's way more interactive than you guys.
Yours definitely drives home the ugly factor.
You know, in this context, I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Yeah, really
you have to.
Yes, I am. Well, in this context.
Hold on. It was an ugly Christmas sweater contest, and you won.
You won it.
Okay.
You're a winner.
It's hideous.
Okay.
Just awful.
It's
All
just absolutely terrible.
Well, I wanted to make sure there was some. I went down a rabbit hole yesterday after I was unbelievably let down by my alma mater, South Alabama.
Oh, God.
And then whatever Virginia Tech attempted to do on the basketball court yesterday against basically a JV team in Boston College. They got a new coach over there at BC who I really like. I think he's going to get them going. But y'all just lost a bunch of sixth graders, really. So Virginia Tech, I should have never trusted a program that wasted Michael Vick. Like why would I ever trust?
That's on me too, man.
That's on me.
My little parlay.
Never again. I'll never bet on Virginia Tech in anything. I don't care if you're playing limbless people. Limbless and brainless people, I will take them to cover. Never believe in you again. But I do got some fun facts to start the day.
Nice.
All right? The hashtag symbol is technically called an octothorpe.
Octothorpe?
Yes, and it's called an octothorpe because the prefix octo refers to the 8 points on the symbol, but the thorpe remains a mystery. One theory claims that it comes from the Old English word for village based on the idea that the symbol looks like a village surrounded by 8 fields. And it really does, if you look. It looks exactly like that. So octothorpe, congrats, everybody. You're now smarter. Here's another one that I bet you didn't know unless you were a chef. The 100 folds in a chef's hat represent 100 ways to cook an egg. And the more folds they have in it, the more ways they know how to cook eggs. So,
are you kidding me?
No, that's 100% truth. That actually really happens in real life. And then another one that absolutely just blew my mind was that the voices of Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse got married in real life. Because how couldn't you? You're just sitting there talking to each other in weird voices all day. Who else does that? People that are together.
There you go.
Think about that. It's a real thing. Then also, last one, M&M stands for Mars and Murray, like the candy M&Ms. Forrest Mars, the son of the Mars Company founder, first spotted the British confection Smarties during the Spanish Civil War and noticed the candy shell prevented the chocolate from melting. Absolute high IQ play here. He teamed up with Bruce Murray. I don't know, great decision. He's the son of the Hershey's chocolate president. That's a delicious merger. And the company later trademarked the melts in your mouth and not in your hand slogan, which has been used in many different ways and forms in today's society. But
that one I did know. So I'm 1 for 4.
You're 1 for 4 there. Blaine, did you know any of that?
No, I did not. The chef's thing is pretty wild to me.
It is pretty wild.
You got scrambled.
How many pleats would you
fried,
have? Smothered,
covered,
slobbered, daubered, clobbered, and
poached.
Uncle Rob.
Poached. Feel like Forrest Gump with a toothbrush on the floor.
Grilled, hard-boiled.
Shrimp kebab.
That's where we're going. That's exactly right. How many pleats?
That's about all the ways you can cook shrimp.
That's exactly right. I wonder how many pleats the best chef in the chat has. That's what I want to find out. Alabama finishes with the top recruiting class in the country for the 10th time under Lord Saban. Former NFL linebacker Chad Brown's going to join us to discuss the future of the Pac-12 and the Denver Broncos, and we're going to preview tonight's matchup between the Jaguars and the Jets. That'd be a hell of a fight in real life. I'm Jay Crane. We're wearing ugly Christmas sweaters, and welcome to Crane & Company. Signing day 2022 was filled with drama as usual, as we had more flips than a gymnastics meet and some major surprises along the way. Now, Alabama and Nick Saban dominated, shocker there, while Kirby Smart continued to add to the monster he's building in Athens. But outside of the typical big dogs, my biggest winner was Oregon. And after they lost momentum when top quarterback Dante Moore decided to go to UCLA, they were able to flip 4 4-stars and a 5-star from major brand name institutions going into year 2 under Dan Lanning. They went from top 15 to top 5 in a flash. We also saw new Oklahoma head coach Brent Venables be able to keep the wagon upright despite a tough first year, and Mario Cristobal added the big guys he needed up front to try and get Miami back where they belong. Now, 2 sneaky days were had by 2 recent head coaching hires, and I mean very recent. Auburn and Hugh Freeze had a big day as they jumped into the top 20 out of nowhere with a lot of space left on the roster. And Nebraska, with new head coach Matt Rule, made some surprising noise as well. Now, overall, there was a lot of the same names that we normally see at the top. And even in the world of NIL, the rich will continue to get richer so much their names should be richer. But the biggest key is not just who can get them, but who can develop them. That is what will determine how much success they have on the field. I'm going to bring in my co-host, former Michigan quarterback, and he's wearing a Hanukkah sweater.
Happy Hanukkah.
An ugly Hanukkah sweater. I want to make sure we get that right. All right, I said Christmas, that's on me, okay? Now, you're not Jewish though, right?
Not that I know.
Not that you know.
But
maybe,
I can be
though.
Today. I can celebrate and participate.
You should, everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody, ELE, everybody.
Look, the menorah's coming out of Ben
Wow,
Shapiro's head
delicious.
here. There's a lot to celebrate.
There's a lot
to celebrate.
There's a lot to celebrate. And I know and I know there's a lot of people right now who aren't working for the rest of the week, probably sleeping in, maybe not going to see this until we're done. To you, I hope you got some good sleep. And I hope you woke up and got to see the family and cook bacon and pet the dogs and do all type of stuff. But I got to bring in my other co-host who's wearing
Sweet Baby Gang, baby.
Sweet Baby Gang gear here. It's very interesting. My brother Blaine Crane, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver, and today he's going to unveil the second version of his new segment called It's Mid, which I'm super duper jacked and tan for, even underneath this tree ugly Christmas sweater. So, guys, signing day 2022. We all know this is the real signing day. I talked about it yesterday. I feel like we should have a signing window, not a signing day. But outside of the typical dominating teams that we see just get NFL players, recycle them every year. Who stood out to you?
So it's different now that you have the transfer portal because you have to take that into account. It's not just the recruiting of high school kids. You have to also win the portal, which we've talked about ad nauseum. So I did some calculations here. There were 7 teams which finished inside the top 20 in high school on the high school recruiting board and inside the top 20 on the transfer portal board. That is Miami, finished 4th overall, 8th in the transfer portal. Oklahoma, 7 overall, 10 in the transfer portal. Oregon, 8 and 5. USC, 11 and 4. Michigan finished 16 and 1st overall in the transfer portal. Florida State, 17, 2nd overall in the portal. And then TCU, 19 and 11, with the Auburn Tigers coming in at 20th overall and 21st, so just outside there. And if you look at that, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 of those 7 are first-year head coaches at their schools. Cristobal, Venables, Dan Lanning, Sonny Dykes, and Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, and you look at the years that Miami had with Mario Cristobal and Oklahoma had with Brent Venables. There's a lot of panic from those fan bases. This is going to calm you down a little bit. I mean, look, Oklahoma got that linebacker transfer from Indiana who's got a little brother that's a stud too. So, it's got to be a nice mix, a nice blend. To quote one of the greatest CEOs of all time, Mr. Cheezel, it's a dandelion nettle blend. And that's what you need. Because when you had transfers, you would try and use those to fill a couple holes in the boat, grad transfers, or maybe they got to come sit a year and you're counting them forward to the next class. And so you look at your roster and you say, all right, I want a percentage of this from the high school, I want a percentage of that, because it's roster management. And we don't talk enough about roster management in the college game. It's all anybody talks about in the NFL. I mean, when you look at roster management and free agency, which goes to roster management, we talk about recruiting a ton, but not the structure of the roster. The reason that Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, what the blueprint is, it's not just all right, everybody be accountable and this, that, and the other, and a plan for knowing where guys are at and what they're doing. It's about roster management. How do you manage the roster? How do you get the roster to a point where you're not losing too much at one time at an important spot? Or if you do, you're able to supplement that because you've done it in recruiting and knew that you were losing it. It's roster management. That is the key to the castle. Getting the players in and developing them. We always talk about the 3 pillars of a great program, right? It's recruiting, it's development, and it's culture. And you can have none without the other. You can have culture, but if you don't have good enough players, it doesn't matter if you guys are just doing push-ups all the time and reading the Bible. You're not going to win. So with guys like Brent Venables that understand this, with guys like Mario Cristobal that understand this, it is going to take a little time for them to get that roster not only back to be able to compete, but to full strength, where all of a sudden you're just now, I call it building the machine, right? these guys can build the machine, and there's no need to panic. I was pretty impressed with Matt Rule, I'm not going to lie, because, again, it's not the sexiest name out there in recruiting, let's be honest. And then Hugh Freeze at Auburn. Thought he did a really good job. So, again, look, you've got to win. We'll see how they do on the field in year 2. But if you're a Miami fan, if you are an Oklahoma fan, or if you are a fan of a team that maybe didn't have the greatest first year under a new head coach, and you had a good year in recruiting in the portal and in high school, you have to feel a lot better right now. But
what do you think?
What do you think, B?
I would go Bama. I mean,
well, yes, I'm talking about out. That's easy. I mean, McDonald's is going to do good today.
Oops. Can I say what I need to say? I'm just gonna do that every time you interrupt me.
Say what you need to say?
Yeah, I'm just gonna do that every time. Well, a lot of things was getting said about Saban. The dynasty's dead. You're losing all this in the portal. And what does he do at 71 years old? He signs the number 1 running back in the country, the number 1 safety, number 1 edge, number 1 offensive lineman, number 1 linebacker, and number 1 D lineman. Surprise, surprise. The dynasty's not dead. They're still just reloading, fellas. So give me Bama. There's a lot of talk about it. So I'm taking Bama as my pick.
Well, they did sign like a year 5 NCAA online dynasty class.
And 2 of those kids from Carver from the same high school.
Yeah.
We're going to pair up
Rousseau
together.
and Smith?
Yes, Rousseau and Smith. Exactly.
Did Carver give up a point the whole year? They had both.
They better not have. But I really like your point talking about, I feel like the best college football teams need to be built. Like the identity needs to be there from the high school recruiting classes, and you develop that and use these transfers as sort of ancillary pieces here and there. I'm looking at the way Georgia is doing this right now, like building this elite, this elite team, class after class after class. Then you bring in a piece if you need. We even saw JT Daniels coming to Georgia. He didn't even play.
Yeah,
right?
He's going to Rice.
You look at a team just like a Michigan, Harbaugh starting to stack some of these classes on, but you bring in an edge like an E.B. Okie, who was making play after play after play down the stretch of the season, or even the center, Ola Timmy, Remington Award winner. Like, that's the way I think you can have the most success. And lo and behold, those 2 teams just may play in the national championship together. It's not this sort of mercenary, let's just go free agent this thing and bring in all the best players we can, maybe in your first or second year, but you still cannot overlook the value of stacking those young classes on top of each other for when you graduate people.
Well, it's like I say, you want to use those transfers to plug up holes in the boat. You don't want to build the boat out of them.
That's how you do it.
That's the best way. And again, it's all circumstantial. When you take over, where you take over, you may have to be, for example, Hugh Freeze and Auburn. You may have to be a little transfer portal heavy in year 1, especially if you're taking over a roster that's not very good. And Brian Harsin left a roster that's not very good, let's be honest.
Well, you'll take good players however you can get them.
Get them.
Especially
to
early.
that point.
Especially early.
But to get the engine revving like the way you want it, mostly high school kids that you can develop, plug holes in the boat with transfers are able to come in. And that way, you kind of, it's almost like a built-in way to avoid that big down year.
Yes.
Right? The one where you're like, all right, here we go. Our class is mostly seniors now, senior quarterbacks, senior laden offensive line, senior guys on the edge on defense, and all of a sudden you lose all that and you're having to rebuild and try and wait for another 3 years to get those guys that are older. Now you can just put another elf on the shelf and go after it again. But speaking about elf on the shelf and Christmas season and everybody's happy, when you're really happy? It's when you bet on sports and you win money. And if you bet on sports, there's only one sports book for you. It's that simple. It's DraftKings. All right, they're the best. I don't know an easier way to tell you this. All right, so download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now to get in on the holiday hoops action. Sign up with code BOOSTER, BOOSTER. Place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any team to win and get $150 in free bets if they do. That's right. That's $150 free dollars. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code BOOSTER. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. You can always trust a guy who's dressed as a tree. You love DraftKings like I do, Ken.
Love DraftKings. Don't love Virginia Tech. They let me down also. But for tonight's picks, I think I'm going to go full Thursday night football slate.
I'm going straight football, even though after what, my alma mater did to me yesterday, it felt like, your dad going out to get milk and then never coming back. Blaine.
Yeah, I don't know that feeling, but it's probably not the best feeling. But the thing about me, what I do love is how early can I get my bets? DraftKings on top of it. Right when that clock strokes midnight, 12:01, boom, they're there. I'm on it. I will never forgive the Hawks for what they did to me last night.
Yeah,
how do you lose at home?
Yeah, that was bad. Who'd they lose? Who's
the Bulls? Who are just like right now, just a disaster.
Yeah.
In the locker room, management. I mean, Zach LaVine's still a dog. I mean, I'm going to admit that. But how do you blow that? I mean, I just needed one. I'm 1-5 since Monday.
That's all right.
I'm Matt Ryaning this whole thing.
Look, I mean, you're still 37 and 29 overall,
disgusting.
up 11 units.
Yeah, you're good.
I had a chance to have a huge month, and us blew them.
Are you giving your speech today?
No, but I am doing It's Mid today.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about that.
I had a question before you go to the Booster Club. Was there a school that you thought in the transfer portal sort of disappointed you this cycle?
Not really disappointed. I mean,
Notre Dame.
I mean, well,
Really? They were top 10?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame didn't do anything to get me really excited.
Ninth
Well, they got a
overall,
bunch
though?
snatched by him from Oregon, but I thought Notre Dame did a pretty good job. I mean, Marcus Freeman is going to recruit well at Notre Dame. I thought Florida State did a really good job too, man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who's the biggest disappointment overall. It's Ole Miss.
That's what I had.
Ole Miss.
35th overall and 30th in the transfer portal. And the reason I put them as my disappointment was because Lane Kiffin is such a great recruiter. Not only from high school kids, but in the portal as well. Well, I mean, what do you make of that? Just the end of the season
Yeah, he
drama?
sabotaged himself. You trolled your own fan base.
Yeah.
Like, you trolled your own fan base. You got paid for it, but guess what? Those recruits saw that.
Okay.
Those parents saw that. So, again, you know, it's cool. It's all funny on social media. He's hashtag stay in the SIP. Well, I mean, stay in the what? You're 35th?
35th, yes, 35th overall, 30th in the portal.
It's not good.
Ew. Probably the biggest blessing for Auburn. Let's go to...
Wait, Hugh Freeze out recruited Lane Kiffin in 3 weeks?
Word has it.
Let's go to Texas Ed. It says JT Daniels wants to lose to every Texas school he can.
Yeah, JT
Going to
Daniels
Rice.
going to Rice. That one shocked me.
Shocked me.
I mean, it's
Then again, I shouldn't be shocked.
Georgia, West Virginia to Rice.
It started
I mean,
at Southern Cal.
you start going to places named after foods. Your career's not lasting too long.
All right, let's go to Cody Nason. He says, it's called an octothorpe because of the way it is.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's like an aspen tree.
It's an aspen tree. Let's go to Matty Ice. He says, who will have a better second year, Mario Cristobal or Dan Lanning?
Give me Dan Lanning. Bo Nick's coming back. I think there's more.
Is he
stability.
focused on having fun?
Yeah, there's more stability on that team. Give me.
That's a good one, though. That's a good one.
That's a good question.
I'll take Dan Lanning, too.
All right, let's go to Texas Ed. He says, the biggest thing that these monsters do at recruiting is building depth. Depth wins you games.
That's exactly right.
Brad Smith wants to tell you that he loves the tree outfit.
Thank you, Brad.
I was there when they got that, to be honest. And
I'm a tree.
I was one of the people who helped pick it out, so you're
like
welcome.
Cone.
Let's go to Sister Riggs. She said, I might just steal Cody's and go Jags money line, even though it's plus 105. It feels better than going Baylor at minus 170.
Yeah, we'll get to the bets.
I trust that, Sister Riggs. Let's go to Kevin T says, we need a David Michigan NFT.
We do.
NFT.
Oh, by the way, I said when we hit 100,000 subs on YouTube, I'm revealing the identity of David Michigan. I found it out 2 days ago.
Whoa. You're doing what?
Found out. 100,000 subs on YouTube. I'm releasing the identity. I'm going to Harvey Dent this thing.
Is he a nice guy? Tell me a little about him.
No, I can't say a word. You think I want to get killed by David Michigan? He agreed with me. We agreed
I
on
heard
it.
he's a really nice guy.
I made him make a decision between, a girl and the new prosecutor in the city.
Yeah. And then you lied about the decision?
Yeah.
Were you handcuffed in a jail cell?
Yeah.
I've seen that movie.
I put a bomb in a guy. What else we got?
Bradley Coggill says he really wants a Flaming Dragon badge. Bradley, we'll see what we can get.
We need some Flaming Dragon merch.
There's all sorts of stuff
When's it gonna
maybe
happen?
coming.
When's it gonna? Yeah. Oh, yes.
Andrew Wilkinson says Jake looks like an alien / priest / rabbi.
So basically, what you're saying is, I look like a rabbi, priest, alien. That sounds pretty sweet, and I'll take that. The question is, though, how am I a rabbi and a priest at the same time?
Don't ask too many questions.
Look, we're asking you.
Yeah, like
You're the one with the Hanukkah shirt on, man.
You tell us.
Hanukkah. But my last name's Cone. You never know.
That is.
You know?
Look, and your ankles are all out today.
Look.
Wow.
These are the joggers.
I hope everybody.
Trying to give me a run for my money over here, bud?
Yeah.
No, technically these aren't high waters because this is how these are supposed to fit.
Yeah, clean up aisle 3. Cone's ankles are out. What else we got?
USA Al says Hugh Freeze has had the best recruiting, in my opinion, due to how long he had to get those kids. Very impressive.
Yes.
And wore down.
Yes. No, it was. I was, Zach Etheridge, Trevon Reed, those guys did a fantastic job. And they got Aldridge as the linebacker coach, who was the interim coach during the bowl game. Actually played pretty decent against Toledo. So he's going to go from the DC to the linebackers coach, but that's a good move. I mean, going from Liberty to Auburn as a full-time guy, that's a big one. All right, one more, and we're going to get to 5 big questions.
Freeway Jared with a $5 donation.
Yeah, donate or make sure you sub on the YouTube or Daily Wire Plus.
It says Blaine Date Fund ain't tricking if you got it.
That's true.
Yeah.
It ain't tricking if you got it.
I like that.
Do you have it?
Do you have it, though?
Born with it. Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
We're not talking about a medical condition. We're talking about it.
It's funny you say that while wearing that. It's hilarious. You just look like one of those kids you walk down the hallway, you're in that room freaking out for 30 minutes.
Well, I did do that.
I know.
And you're wearing the shirt with another man's face on it. So with a better beard.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You are. You are.
That's my boss.
Yeah, that's true. That's okay.
Tyler Jarvis, $5 donation, says, Jake, just when I think you can't do anything dumber, you wear that awesome sweater and totally redeem yourself.
T-Jar.
Best sweater ever. The poll is today who's rocking them.
God,
That's what I said about Aaron Rodgers on McAfee. Did you see him with the Dude Abide sweater?
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh, I was like, just when I thought Aaron Rodgers.
Of course Aaron Rodgers loves the Big Lebowski. He probably understands it better than anybody.
Love it.
You know what we need to do at some point?
Tell me.
We need to have like a booster club year-end awards. Like, what do they call it on The Office? The Dundies?
The Dundies?
We need to have like
Cranies?
our version of that.
The Cranies?
Yeah, the Cranies.
The Cranies.
Wow, I like it. Are the Cronies crane and cone mixed together? Look at us. Kind of a content on the fly. All right, David, let's get to 5 big questions. But before we do, David, calm down. Okay. All right? I want to talk about something that's very close to my heart and my gut health.
What is it?
And that's Athletic Greens. All right, our friends over there. If you want to reclaim, we all know the holidays, all right? Everybody's going to eat a little bit too much, all right? Maybe a little bit too merry when it comes to drinking, or if you're related to anybody named Mary. But you can reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, Blaine. It's just 1 scoop and a cup of water every day. I mean, it's ABCs. It's that easy. That's it, all right? And to make it even easier, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel bags with your first purchase. That would take like 30 Sunny Ds to even get close. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Crane and Company. Again, that's athleticgreens.com. There's a /Crane and Company to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Helps with aging, because who doesn't need that? Probably Tom Brady's secret. Focus, recovery, energy, gut health, immune system, and nervous system. You'll be so much less nervous than you've ever been in your life. That's athleticgreens.com/Crane and Company. 5 big questions, David.
Do it now. Don't forget. I know you're driving in the car. Do it now. Order it.
Order it now.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yes.
Tonight at the New York Jets. Let me break it down for you here. Jets, last place in the AFC East, but they're 7-7. There's not a losing team in the AFC East right now. Jacksonville Jaguars, 6-8 in second place of the AFC South, behind the Titans, with Ryan Tannehill, boys, out for the season, sounds like.
Titans just got better.
My question, which team's more likely to make the playoffs?
This is a good question, Conan. You always do this to me, and this is so difficult in the NFL because a lot of it is schedule. Can we pull up the schedules, the rest of the schedules?
I got the Jets first.
Okay, let's go Jets.
They're on a 3-game losing streak. Obviously, they host the Jaguars tonight. Then they're at the Seahawks, and they finish at the Dolphins.
Oh. Okay, what about the Jags?
I got it right here.
You got
it?
them?
What is it, mine?
All right, you got the Jets. Then you go to Houston.
Okay.
And you got Tennessee at home.
Ha! Give me the
Jags.
Jags.
Get much easier than that.
Yeah,
they did lose 2 defensive players out for the rest of the year.
I did, but like you said yesterday, everybody's kind of beat up right now. Here's where I'm with the Jets. It's a must-win, man. It's a must-win. And some people say, oh, well, statistically, or they won't be completely out of it if they don't win. This is a must-win if you want to get in the playoffs, in my opinion, with the way that it's going to work out, considering you do have to go to Seattle, and you still have to go to Miami, who's seemingly kind of turned it around a little bit, even though they lost against the Bills the other night in a hell of a game. When I look at what Trevor Lawrence has been able to do, you've seen a lot. The old head Marvin Jones Jr., wide receiver, stepped up. We know about Zay Jones. Apparently everybody with the last name Jones plays on the Jags, and they're playing pretty good right now. Christian Kirk's one of the most underrated slot guys, I think, in the NFL.
He got paid.
No, I'm talking about just from a knowing him.
brand,
A lot of people know who CeeDee Lamb is. A lot of people.
I think Ingram, the tight end from Ole Miss.
Evan's been a good player for a while. He did a lot of good stuff with the Giants. So they have weapons. Travis Etienne, he's got to figure out a way to hold on to the ball more. He turns it over a ton. So they have weapons. The thing I feel, again, and I feel like I say this every time about Trevor Lawrence, is he's not making terrible decisions in big situations. It's one thing like when he spun out of that sack and went and got hit and fumbled. Mm-hmm. That wasn't a bad decision. That was just a physical play that happens in football. But, when it's 3rd and goal and it's early in the game and you're scrambling, instead of trying to force that ball in there and throwing an interception and getting no points, throwing it away and taking the 3. Just little stuff like that. But in this game, I do like the Jets at home tonight. I like him at home. I think the Jaguars obviously caught a break last week with the way they were able to finish that game with Dak and them driving. That interception wasn't on Dak. Them falling flat in their face on offense once they got a lead, that's on Dak and the rest of the offense. But I feel like the Jaguars have caught some breaks the last couple of weeks. I feel like the Jets haven't. Seems like the Jets haven't. I know you make your own breaks and you say, Braxton Berrios should have caught that ball against the Vikings in the end zone to give them a lead late in that game. But I feel like Zach Wilson, who played a lot better than I thought he was going to play last week when you really look at the numbers and it comes down to it, I feel like the Jets' defense is going to score a touchdown tonight. They're going to score a touchdown on special teams, one of those two. I feel like they find a way. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a good game. The weather, I think, is supposed to be 34 degrees. But I think the Jags are going to end up making the playoffs. But the Jets win tonight.
What do you think?
Man, it's just so tough. I think the Jaguars are playing extremely good football right now, and the Jets look good against the Lions. I agree with Jake. I think the Jets' defense will be the difference, and I think Garrett Wilson's going to have a big game. I think this kid's a top 3, rookie receiver right now in the league, especially with the quarterback situation that the Jets have. I feel like whatever his possession or attempts or receptions is going to be betting-wise on DraftKings, I would take the over in this game on that. But I do like the under full game, but give me the Jets. Field goal to win it.
Be a tall task for Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson to
He's
go
a little bit beat up, too.
Is he, Trevor Lawrence? Yeah. Be a tall task, but the way they've been playing, man, you cannot discount them. Second one, I want to talk about Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. 17 straight seasons of double-digit wins. 17. Then Tom Brady leaves, and they go 7-9. Now, they went 10-7 last season, lost in the wild card. Here they sit 7-7. Just this past weekend, they had one of the worst football plays for a game ender that we had ever seen. We talked about that. Is Bill Belichick doing damage to his legacy these past few years with bringing in Matt Patricia to run the offense and sort of making some of the uncharacteristic mistakes that we've seen from a 6-time Super Bowl head coach champion?
Yes, in the eyes of people outside, I think Bill Belichick really doesn't care. I really, really believe that. I don't think it's a front that he puts on. I almost have convinced myself that Bill Belichick and Tom Brady won so much that now Bill Belichick on his way out is just trying to see how far he can push the boundaries, like how quirky he can really be.
He's just bored?
Like bored, like almost bored. Like I'm dead serious. Like, what if we just change the names of the coaches? I don't need an offensive coordinator.
He's like, let's get a defensive coordinator.
I'm going to get a defensive, because I think it got to the point where he's like, you know what? I know how to win. I have the blueprint. Tom Brady, it's a great mix. But I feel like I think Blaine's right. I feel like he's just trying to invent ways in the NFL. So, like, you can say, well, you remember when Bill Belichick, he won with the defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator. They put their helmets on their feet and their cleats on their head, and they still made the playoffs. Like, I just feel like Bill Belichick's gotten bored, and I really don't think he cares. I think Bill Belichick could care less what anybody thinks.
Well, ever since Tom left, I've just got the feeling that the Patriots are playing just not to lose instead of playing to win, especially on the offensive side of the ball. You're seeing a lot of this turnaround, handing the ball off, short throws, screens, kind of like a defensive coordinator would call offensive plays. And it's understandable having a young quarterback like that with Mac Jones, but you do have weapons on that team that you could use in Jacoby Myers. You have Devontae Parker, Hunter Henry, who's a great tight end. So in the words of Mac Jones, start pushing the ball down the field a little bit. Mac can do that. You have the guys, and I think it's a trust factor. So I think Bill will get to that point. I like the Patriots as a team, as a unit, the way they play, especially that defense. But it's just disappointing to watch them play, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a situation where you been with somebody, y'all been married for 20 years and 18 of them been great, but the last 2 have been really tough, and you get a divorce and all of a sudden you go check on her a year later and she has 13 cats and it's like now Mormon, just like, or some, whatever
Don't bring the
she
Mormons
wasn't
into
before.
this.
Not just, I'm talking about just
More men. More men.
More men.
Yeah, merman. You got the black lung pop. No, I don't think Bill Belichick's going crazy. I think he's just bored.
Third one, let's talk about the Colts for a second. The first time Matt Ryan got benched, that was Frank Wright as head coach. Jeff Saturday comes in as the interim head coach. Matt Ryan is being benched again after they allowed the largest comeback in NFL history to the Vikings. What's going to happen with the Colts moving forward?
I don't think Jeff Saturday is going to be the full-time head coach. I said that when he got the job and everybody was screaming how racist it was or whatever, which I don't believe, but they let Joy Taylor talk on TV, which is one of the reasons that aliens won't talk to us. But when I look at the Colts situation right now, I feel like you had to do something after you gave up that lead. You had to do something. Like, you have to show people, the fans and people in the building, like, all right, that's unacceptable. Somebody's going to pay the price. And in the NFL, typically, unless it's, and I know Matt Ryan's had a really good career, and there's been some bad moments we know in the Super Bowl, and obviously now this, you had to send a message, and I think they did. I think Matt Ryan is done. I think Matt Ryan is done. And I think he should have been done. But it's not all on him. All right, it's not all on him, the reason that they came back. Now, you can argue, hey, well, the special teams blocked a punt and scored. The defense had a pick six and set them up for another touchdown. They almost had half the points of that 33-0 lead. So it's not all on Matt. But some of it is.
I don't think it would be all on Matt if you didn't blow that lead in the Super Bowl. You have the 2 largest comebacks were against you, bud. So, I mean, at the end of the day, there's one common denominator in this entire situation, and Matty Ice, that's you. I mean, it's not going to get better. You're not going to put, what's his name, from Texas, Ellinger in there.
Ellingberger.
And it's automatically going to get better, and guess who's out for the year? Jonathan Taylor's out for the year now. So it's going to get worse. I think Matt should have hung it up for the year.
Nick Foles is going to start now.
He got some witchery in him.
Oh, we've seen
Witchy
Nick.
stuff happens.
They're so far gone right now.
When you got shovel face like that, witchy things happen.
That's exactly right. He does have shovel face.
He's got some, what's that, Mind Hunter?
His shovel face.
Yeah. The same thing with Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator.
He's got shovel face.
Right? Like, those guys got some witch in them. You can't look like that and not have some witch.
That's exactly right.
Wow. I'm learning all types of stuff.
You are.
All right, let's go to the MLB. Aaron Judge named the 16th captain in Yankees history. Will he be remembered as an all-time Yankees great?
Yeah, I mean, he has the single-season home run record as far as I'm concerned. So I think it already puts him up there. But again, playing in that yard with a short porch and right, the way he's able to go the other way, fly balls or home runs there, I think he epitomizes the Yankees too. Think about it. He's humongous. Okay, you just look at Aaron Judge, you see how big he is, you look at the flash, you see the power. It's a power flex from New York. We have monsters that hit home runs more than your guys. They have one of the biggest payrolls. They have one of the biggest fan bases and one of the biggest franchises in sports. Aaron Judge encapsulates exactly what the Yankees are when I think of the Yankees, even more than Derek Jeter. I think of Derek Jeter as a Yankee, obviously, as one of the great Yankees, as one of the most clutch Yankees. But when I look at Aaron Judge, I see the brand of the Yankees. Big, powerful, flashy. It just makes sense to me.
Yankees fan?
I don't know why.
I don't think anybody would be more than a Yankee than Derek Jeter.
Okay, you're misinterpreting
Where do you think he
what
will
I'm
be
saying.
like Aaron Judge? I mean, is he going to be up there with the Roos and the Mantles? I mean, Mickey Mantle wasn't even a captain. Neither was.
He'll be up there for sure.
Neither was Roger Maris.
I mean, he's a true Yankee. I mean, he does phenomenal in the regular season and get in the playoffs and completely blows it. I mean, barely touches the baseball. Still haven't forgiven the Yankees for what they did to me. They see it in me, but I mean, good for Aaron Judge. I mean, how about you do it in the postseason, bud? How about that?
The Yankees haven't had a captain since Derek Jeter.
Wow.
Actually. All right, last one. Travis Hunter is going to follow Deion Sanders to Colorado, transfer there, which I told you when he committed there, he was going to play Power 5 football at some point.
Well, yeah, and it was all coming down to Deion.
Predicated to, yeah. So, the question is, a lot of these guys are surefire going to play in the NFL. I understand that. But for the ones who don't, do you think they're going to look back and wish they had stayed at one university longer and sort of gotten the traditional college experience rather than bouncing around from school to school? I'm talking about not Travis Hunter so much as JT Daniels and some like that.
Look, I think it's all circumstantial. I think it depends on the individual and the situation. I don't want to just blanket statement how all of them are going to feel because I don't know. You're going to have some that are happy that think they made the right decision. You're going to have some that are upset and may, kind of stay awake a little bit longer before they go to sleep and wonder what could have been. My thing with Travis Hunter, I put this out on social media yesterday because he said if I get to 100,000 subscriptions on YouTube, then I'm going to tell everybody where I'm transferring to. And, again, we talk about this on the show all the time. There have been smart business moves that people have not liked for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years. Something can be a good business move and not liked or be kind of out of the traditional view of what makes people happy, right? Some people are like, oh, Travis Hunter, it's just about him, whatever. It's a smart business move. It's a smart business move. It really is. Like, you cannot like it. I don't love it. Do I love the direction the game is going? Not in some aspects. But I'm smart enough to be able to sit back and say, you know what? It's a smart business move. Would I do it? I don't know. I think there's a good chance. Mm-hmm. So, we can all try and be purists and moralists and say, oh, the nostalgia of the days, I miss this. But when the times are changing, you have to evolve. Not only evolve, but you have to be ahead of the curve. And I think it's a smart business move. I come in here all the time talking about my name, image, and likeness. And while I can sit here and say, all right, it's a different circumstance with Travis Hunter that is going to a team full of players that he's going to have to play with, and it sets kind of an interesting precedent, I can still, while I may not love it, say that is a smart business move.
Well, I think everybody who's ever played college football committed to a coach. You may have committed to a school as well, but I remember even my father-in-law, when he played for Bear Bryant, he said, I chose Alabama because Bear Bryant was the head coach. So if Bear Bryant then leaves and you have an opportunity to follow that coach, this is a situation like that. Caleb Williams probably committed to Oklahoma because of Lincoln Riley. So when Lincoln Riley left and you have an opportunity to go to Southern California, he took that, and now he's a Heisman Trophy winner. And I understand it.
Well, it's funny, we used to say, Blaine, and I've said this all the time, you commit to a school, not a coach. But now with the transfer portal, you can just commit to a coach.
And it is weird. And it's sad to see in some capacities. Like when my coach retired when I was at Michigan, I had an opportunity. Okay, I'm not going to play for Rich Rodriguez. Should I take the opportunity now to go someplace else? And at that point, 2 years in, that's when it kicks in that, hey, I'm already a part of this institution. I'm a part of this legacy. I want to remain a part of that. So it's a little bit different, I guess, depending on if you've been there 1 year or 2 years, or you're a grad transfer, or you've already graduated, things like that.
Yeah, without a doubt. Blaine, what do you think?
I mean, it feels dirty, but it's understandable, right? I mean, you did the same thing. You're releasing David Michigan's true identity if we get 100K subscribers.
Where do you think I got the idea from?
Yeah, so
how much does it? That might be leaked information, though.
Oh, I'm not leaking it yet. No, it ain't no leaked information.
No, you might have leaked information.
I caught him on the fence last night. Just staring.
I get it. I mean, I get it. Kids don't commit to a school anymore. They commit to a lot of different things. I think a coach. An offensive system.
I've seen him commit to a girl.
A girl. So, I mean, it's a different time now, guys. This is not old school football anymore. It's new things. Like, what can get me the NFL the quickest? Or where can I succeed the best if I'm an offensive player? If I'm a receiver or something like that, I want to go play for a Tennessee. Or not because Heupel's the coach or USC, not because Riley the coach, but it gives me the best opportunity to continue my dream, and that's going to the NFL. So a lot of it's just about opportunity and getting seen. So if I'm Travis Hunter, I understand the YouTube thing. Go get your bag, buddy. And do everything you can to pump that money up, because at the end of the day, you only got you when it comes to getting your bag, dog. I promise you. Yeah. A lot of these guys, when it comes to NIL, it's a team game, but they are worried about themselves making money. So you have to look out for yourself when it comes to that aspect of the game.
Speaking about looking out for yourself and opportunity, what if I told you had the opportunity to feel more like your old self? Maybe have more energy than you've had lately like you used to? Or your body, maybe make it look better? Well, our partners at Nugenics, if you just text CRAIN, all right, that's CRAIN to 231-231, you get a complimentary bottle of Nugenics Total T. You need to text now, and if you do it right now, literally right now, you'll also get a complimentary bottle of Nugenics Thermo. That's right, we're turning it up. Their most powerful fat incinerator ever. It's gone. Out of here, baby. Absolutely free. But you have to text CRAIN to 231-231. That's CRAIN to 231. It helps you turn back the clock, re-energize your workouts, and contains key man-boosting ingredients, Blaine, like Testofen. You love you some of that. Validated in 5 clinical studies and backed by years of research. and scientists like John Brinkus. Unlike other products that use generic ingredients, which are far less clinical grade, Nugenix Total T gives you the same clinical potency levels used in trials. Re-energize your life with Nugenix Total T. Cone, I need you to text CRAIN.
Total T.
I need you to text CRAIN to 231-231 right now.
Okay.
I need you.
Okay. Do you want to look like Frank Thomas or not?
Yeah. Look, you want to hit homers or what? Chicks love the long ball, let's be honest.
Yeah. Everyone loves the long ball.
Speaking of the long ball, that all with 5 big
That's
questions
it.
there?
You
did a
answered
great
them all.
job. What do you got, Matt Walsh's sweatshirt?
All right, let's go to Paul Lynch. He says, Merry Christmas, gentlemen, from Toronto, Canada.
Six?
Are you safe?
The 6?
Everything okay?
Merry Christmas, bud. He's up there with Cody Nason.
Appreciate you, my friend.
Let's go.
Freaking freezing out here.
Let's go to It's Europe. So y'all were talking about how wild it must have been to work on the Manhattan Project. Fun fact, for a while there, they weren't sure if they were going to light the atmosphere on fire or not.
I'm not hitting the button.
Like, they really didn't know.
Like, y'all think I'm joking around. We could have spent all the time in the world building that thing. I'm talking about missed time at home with the kids, and they're like, all right, Jake, here we go. Press the button. I'm like, nah, I don't like it.
I'm hitting
It's
that
like when you
button.
look at a bet. It's like when I look at DraftKings, I'm looking at spreads, and I'm like, God. I'm looking at them, I'm like, man, just something about it is telling me not to do it. Like, man, Central Connecticut State, they suck.
That's me on every
But
spread.
man, like, something's telling me not to. You second guess yourself a lot?
Oh, God, I look at it like, well, maybe not. I hate it. Every single one. Let's go to Mike RFF Lifestyle. It's a lifestyle, baby. Hashtag Ask Crane and Company. Since we are looking festive,
Yes.
all right, what is your favorite part about Christmas?
Presents.
Oh, man. What's my favorite part about
What are
Christmas?
you going to say? What's yours going to be like? I love the feeling.
The family.
Yeah.
The family.
Ew, gross. Presents are the best. That's what makes Christmas great.
All right, let's go to Albert.
And the tree, and the
the tree.
music, and
Yeah.
the movies.
Yeah.
Let's go to Albert Denton. What's up, everyone? What do y'all think about Swanson signing with the Cubs? Because his late grandpa was a fan who passed away the day after getting married to Chicago forward Mallory Pugh.
Yeah, it's
So what happened?
It's a cool story. Dansby got a little emotional at the press conference talking about
So
it.
Dansby did what now? He signed?
Dansby went to the Cubs.
Yes. And then what happened?
Well, so tell him again, Blaine, with the grandfather.
Swanson signed him with the Cubs because his late grandpa was a fan who passed away the day after getting married to Chicago forward Mallory Pugh.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So there's a connection there. Here's my thing on Dansby Swanson. Appreciate what he did with the Braves as a Braves fan. Thank you, man. Got a World Series. And you could even feel, like, these guys leaving Atlanta are upset. That shows you how tight that locker room is. I mean, you saw Freddie Freeman, make Derek Carr look like Rambo in a press conference. He was crying so much. But I think the Cubs overpaid for Dansby Swanson. Somebody was going to overpay for him. And the good for Dansby, go get your bag, like we were just talking about with Travis Hunter. Cubs, I think you guys are still going to be lost in the wilderness. I don't, again, he's a good shortstop, but I feel like you overpaid for him. I'm just glad the Braves didn't overpay for him. They got a kid in the system coming up who I think is going to be pretty special. So I think it was a smart move by the Braves. The Braves have spent money. They have signed young guys for long terms. I mean, you look at Michael Harris, I go down the list of guys. So it was a good move, I think, by both parties, kind of a Bo Nix situation. Good for you to leave, good for you to get him, but I do think the Cubs overpaid for him.
All right, we got a $5 donation from Justin Decker.
Ooh, upper or lower?
Says if, it depends on the day. If I'm a coach, I'm channeling my inner caretaker. I'll get the strippers. Hashtag Blaine, you suck. Okay. Cone, you're my boy, Blue, and Jake, my man.
Lots going on there.
Lots going on.
Appreciate you, Justin.
Yeah, Justin.
Justin Decker, you're the man.
Yeah.
You're my boy, Blue.
Yeah. You're definitely not my boy. This don't have the
My man.
most normal name ever. Let's go to Papa John.
Oh, really?
With Papa John's in there
Says,
today?
yeah, Bama signing the number 1 class and Georgia signing the number 2 class is very deceiving. There's a wide gap between number 1 and number 2 classes this year. GA still got them dudes, but Bama signed like 6 5-stars. Georgia's 1.
Yeah, look, you knew Nick was coming back like Jordan after
Yeah.
what Jimbo did to him
Yeah.
last year. Which, by the
Oh,
way,
and Texas A&M.
Yeah.
There's another one that was a little bit more disappointing.
Yeah, well, I think compared to where what they did last year and all the hoopla and the hype, and you know what? Maybe this is better for them. Maybe it was better for Texas A&M that
Not
they
to be
didn't
the
have
front-
all the
front runner.
and in the conversation, get all these. I think the problem is when you sign all these top guys, and look, you want to sign the best players, but sometimes the best player isn't the one that's just physically the best. That's where sometimes I think we get kind of caught up in numbers and things like that. Obviously, you want to have the most physical team. You want to have athletes all over the place, but there's so much more that goes into a quality player than just how high they can jump. So I think it may be a good thing for Texas A&M. And Jimbo said he hadn't made the decision yet, but he's probably going to hand over play calling to the offensive coordinator. Let me tell you, Jimbo, hand it over, bud. You need to do it. You need to hand it over because you're gonna be playing the violin on the Titanic as this thing goes down if you keep calling plays.
All right, let's go to USA Out. He says, no lie, this is my favorite show. I love these guys. Love you, man.
We love you, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
Let's go to Mike RFF Lifestyle. Says, Zach Wilson getting in trouble putting the mistletoe up at the Jets holiday party. And I'm pretty sure he bought the entire offensive line scooters.
Look, Zach Wilson's rich. What's wrong with putting mistletoe?
He put the mistletoe up?
Of course.
Of course he
You
would.
better hide your moms.
He bought the entire O-line scooters?
Yeah.
I don't want my offensive linemen on scooters.
Why are they on scooters?
I need y'all to play.
Hold on, no. It's a nice gesture. It's a nice
This is the
gesture.
difference.
Getting them gifts.
This is the difference
Scooters? They
in
don't need to be on
an elite
scooters.
quarterback.
Oh.
Why don't you just get a Nutrisystem while you're at
Why
it?
can't they be on scooters?
Scooters, man. We don't need the O-line getting hurt. Come on.
They're not motor
Tom
scooters.
Brady would never get his
Exactly.
offensive linemen.
They're like razor
Exactly,
scooters.
which
So the
means
worst thing
there's-
you do is just hurt your shin.
There's more human error. Okay?
It's just a shin bounce. It hurts.
You've never gotten hurt on one of those?
I lived that life.
Hold on. Everybody be quiet. As somebody that was a 14-year-old during the razor scooter era, there are catastrophic razor scooter
Not as bad as motor.
When I broke my wrist on a bicycle on Christmas, we went into the ER. The doctors looked at me holding my wrist and said, razor scooter. That's how bad it was. That's how bad it was.
There you go.
And imagine a 300-pounder on a razor scooter. You might as well put him on a rocket.
Too athletic.
Nice gesture. Great gesture. Love to see it. Maybe go a different
The
direction.
difference between an elite quarterback and an average quarterback.
Back.
You know what I'm getting my offensive lineman? Some athletic greens. Or I don't know, maybe telling them to text CRAIN to 231-231, get that total T up.
How about all you can eat at the Golden Corral? You know? There you go. A gift.
I'll
a gift
take
worth
that right
giving,
now.
Blaine.
So you calling them fat? Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
Saying they would have a great time. Actually, dare I say, you put the option in front of them, scooter or all you can eat at Golden Corral. Let's see what gets picked.
Let's see. Let's see
Yeah,
what
I'm
gets
down.
picked.
Let's find out. Let's go to Mike RFF Lifestyle with a $5
Again?
donation.
Oh, Mike RF again.
Yeah, he's hot. I mean, he's when you read the donation.
No, why don't you read it?
All right. You look like Aspen Tree because of the way you are. Merry Christmas, fellas. Merry Christmas to you. For the OG Booster Club, one request for David Combe and the soundboard. If not, Jay can do it for us. Can I get a cacao?
Oh, you want a cacao?
Hit him with it.
Hold on, this thing's been getting filled up here, boys. Let me see if I can find cacao.
Okay. Love it when you get filled up.
Because I can do it.
Well,
Cacao.
there, that's
Not just like it.
Hold on, I'm gonna find.
Come on now.
Cacao.
Okay, let's go to Justin Decker. $5 donation. Seeing what Freeze did in recruiting and what Kiffin did solidify that Auburn made the right choice to not drop in the bag on Kiffin. They dropped the bag on him. You said no.
I'm just glad they listened to me. That's all I'm saying. He's my number one the whole time. All right, let's get to rapid fire.
All right, rapid fire.
You find it?
No, I didn't find it.
That's all right.
I didn't find cacao. I think we had to make room for the Creed song.
No,
maybe.
play that real quick.
Yeah, we'll play that one instead.
This is festive. You have to.
Yeah!
All right, rapid fire. Let's go to NHL for a second, guys.
Ooh.
Boston Bruins are 25-4. Now, the
They're hot.
President's Trophy winners last year, the Panthers, 15-15. Maple Leafs 20-7, doing well. But then the Avalanche on the Western side, 18-11. What do you feel about the Boston Bruins right now?
Look, we got a long way to go. You know, it's a long season, but I mean, when you're putting up the type of numbers the Bruins are consistently, the thing I do like about Boston is I love their physicality, and in hockey you have to have that. It's like in football, you're judged on your physicality and you build it outside. But it seems to me like you had multiple guys step up, and we talk about balance in football a lot, right? We talk about balance in basketball, offensively, defensively, how good are you down low? In hockey, it's no different in sports. It seems like the Bruins can beat you 6-5 and they can beat you 1-0. Kind of like the way the Avs were a little bit last year. Like we'd see the Avs go on these big offensive runs,
Yeah.
right? Even in the playoffs, but then also they're winning 2-1 games. They're winning games where it's 1-0. And so I think that the biggest strength that the Bruins have right now is their balance. They need to continue to stay healthy. They need to continue, I think, to take risks offensively, not be afraid to go try and fill up the net and not play it safe just because now you have a big lead in your division. So I like what the Bruins are doing, but don't be surprised if you see the Avalanche catch stride. Don't be surprised if you see the Maple Leafs catch stride. What I'm interested to see is if some of these teams that were really bad last year that have seemed to make some improvements this year can continue after the All-Star break.
52 total points for the Boston Bruins right now. That's 6 ahead of even the next closest teams.
The
All right,
balance.
NBA. Steve Kerr said the Warriors have hit rock bottom after the 143-113 blowout loss to the Nets. Should there be worry in Golden State?
I mean, yeah, I thought the Nets were going to score 350 points in this game.
Had 100 at halftime.
It was
The Nets
incredible.
had 100 at halftime?
Yeah. Here's my thing with Steve
Without
Kerr.
Kyrie.
Here's my thing with Steve Kerr. Wow. I don't agree with a lot of what Steve Kerr says off the court, but we're not talking about off the court. On the court, I think Steve Kerr has done a really good job of managing egos, because that's what an NBA coach has to do. That's your biggest job. It's not scheme. I'm sorry. You have assistant coaches that are very dedicated to scheme. Your job, what made Phil Jackson incredible, what made Pat Riley incredible, these guys knew basketball, obviously, duh, but they could manage egos and they had the respect of the locker room. Steve Kerr has always had the respect of his players. What I see now from the Warriors is almost Belichick-ish a little bit, is that it seems safe. They don't. I know they've had injuries. I know Steph's been out. Clay, before last year, when they were able to do what they did last year, he was out. And I know they've had to kind of replace guys, Draymond Green, punching Jordan Poole and things like that. But it just seems to me like the Warriors, it's not fun basketball to watch. It almost seems forced. When the Warriors are cooking, it's high flying, it's fast. I think there should be worry. I think they've kind of lost their magic a little bit, to be honest with you. And look, it was bound to happen. I mean, the Warriors have been, winning championships for how long now? I mean, you look at dynasties in the NBA.
6 years.
I mean, they're up there. So should you be worried? Yes. Do I feel like the Warriors the championships are going to start falling off a little bit? Yes, I think that's part of the deal. The Celtics are going to get over the hump eventually. I love what the Heat are doing, what we've talked about. You look at some of these up-and-coming teams, the Cavs, some teams like that. But again, Steve Kerr, while I may disagree with him a lot, he does do a good job of managing personalities. It just seems to me like maybe the shtick is up.
I hate doubting the Warriors when they're not healthy.
I know, but how long
I think if they're all out there, Clay's not out there, Steph's not out there, when they're all out there, they're as good as anybody in the NBA. And I think the Brooklyn Nets right now are an extremely good basketball team. 20-11. Thinking this is without Kyrie. Kyrie's been out with a cap for a minute. You add Ben Simmons, it brings a little bit of defense. So I'm not going to doubt the Warriors until they're all out there playing bad. That's the only time I'll doubt it. When Steph gets out there, when Clay gets out there, Draymond's out there, and you have Kuminga, Looney, and Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole has to start coming on like he did last year. But if you have those guys out there, you're as good as any NBA team in the NBA.
I agree with that, but the best ability is availability.
True.
And as Steph and these guys get older, how many times are they all going to be out there at the same time? Like that's more of my thing. I'm not questioning if Steph can't go out there and still shoot good, or if Klay Thompson can't go out there and fill it up. But these guys have been doing this for a while. They are getting older. You do get worn down, and we see load management in the NBA. We've seen it with LeBron and some of the top guys. And you're going to have that. So they're not going to be out on the court. Is it one of those things where you just try and hold on and make the playoffs and then throw them all out there? I don't know if they can operate like that. But could they get hot and make a run? Yes, it's the Warriors. They have the experience. You're playing with nothing to lose. You're already Hall of Famers. So, again, I don't want to sleep on them, but I don't know if they're all going to be able to be out there consistently at the same time going forward like they have been in the past.
All right, last one for rapid fire. Did you guys hear about the biggest signing yesterday on signing day? Rowdy Beers. Commits to FIU.
Nice. Rowdy Beers?
Rowdy Beers, Colorado tight end, announces commitment to FIU. There he is.
His name is really Rowdy Beers?
His name is Rowdy Beers.
The boy's got a beak.
Yeah, look.
Good.
Look,
look.
That's one of the coolest names I've ever heard.
Yeah,
Rowdy Beers?
I mean,
you were going to get a scholarship the minute they wrote your name on that birth certificate.
He's catching 10 touchdowns next year.
I believe it. At FIU?
I'm all for it.
Again, Rowdy Beers.
What a
That's
name, man.
Good one. God, Reed would never let us name our kid Rowdy. That'd be such a great name. I like Easton.
Easton. I like that. Oh,
Yeah.
he's going to play shortstop.
Oh, Easton.
Name after a baseball bat?
Kid can smack
You better
it, man.
swing it.
Oh,
Easton
come on now.
Crane.
It's
You
coming
better
out of me,
swing it,
dog.
yeah.
What do you mean?
You better swing it.
That he's going to have the eyes of a hawk and the arms of a god. All right, let's go to the Booster Club real quick.
All right, let's get back at it. David H., there's a reason university sports ban their athletes from hoverboards. Hint, it wasn't the batteries. Okay, we're talking a little different story when we're talking hoverboards, all right? When we're defining the laws of gravity and physics, it gets into a different mode.
Yeah,
Same realm.
Yeah, if we're
Same
gonna
ballpark.
Yeah, if we're gonna Marty McFly this thing, I mean, you might as well go ahead and do it.
All right, let's go to Calvin Tillman says, as an ex-offensive lineman, I'm taking the buffet.
Of course. Of course.
I don't think
Who
you're
wants
taking
a
the Golden
scooter?
Corral buffet, though.
Who wants a
Yeah.
scooter?
Good.
Look, don't you sleep on Golden Corral.
Ew!
I know you've never played
Gross.
O-line.
Look at this bad and bougie.
Golden
bad and-
Corral?
Golden
Let's go
Corral's
somewhere
not
else with the
gross.
buffet. I don't feel like being sick the next
If you
week.
go to the
You're
right
not going to be able
Golden
to trust
Corral,
a fart for the next 3 days.
If you go to the right Golden Corral, it's fantastic.
There's no such thing as a right Golden Corral.
Yes, there is.
Every time I walked into a Golden Corral, there's been some 400-pound person putting their entire fist into the chocolate fountain. I don't want to go there.
Clearly, you played wide out, brother. I'm telling you, the O-linemen know
my
what to do
goodness.
at Golden Corral.
Oh,
If
my
anything, it's
goodness.
Chinese buffet.
we're going to get to Chad Brown, Broncos Hall of Famer, national champion at Colorado, talk some NFL and college with him. But Blaine, I got to see the It's Mid segment.
It's mid? Well, I got to get set up.
You got to get set up?
Yeah, I got to get the thing moved.
All right.
Let's go, brother.
All right, well,
brother.
you go
Come
get
on.
set up. You go get set up.
We're going
for
to get
It's Mid.
canceled for this one.
Oh,
Wait, we are or you are?
we are or you are?
Me?
Okay.
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 Nervous.
You need some help back there?
I'm
jacked
Cone
and
wants to
tan,
look at the
dude.
notebook.
Is this
let me
right?
see.
Cone wants to look at the notebook. All right.
Can y'all see me?
Boy.
Yes.
All right.
You're going
All right.
back here today, huh?
Yeah, is that okay?
To stay out of the.
All right, clap.
line.
You look huge right now.
I've been killing
you
the
look
weight.
like
I've been
Jake
killing the weight room.
Yeah, you look like Jake Gyllenhaal in the Prisoners movie.
All right.
I like that movie.
Great movie.
Great movie. All right, guys. Class is in session. Everyone take a seat. Open up your textbook to page 37. We're going to go to a lesson today called It's Mid. First thing on the agenda today is Pulp Fiction, the movie.
Pulp Fiction?
It's mediocre.
Oh,
I don't
John
believe
Travolta, first of all,
bad start.
First of all, is a creep, and second of all, is a mediocre actor.
It's a bad
surprise,
start.
surprise. Samuel L. Jackson's yelling in another movie.
I don't believe it.
Who would have guessed? The writing's mid. Everything about that's mid. I like one movie with John Travolta in it. It's Swordfish, and he almost ruined that. All right, the second one's Will Levis.
Yes.
It's Will Levis.
Yeah.
The kid's got Osweiler written all over him. It's a bust. It's a bust. If you take him in the first round, it's going to be a bust.
But he throws the ball really hard.
He does
Yeah,
sling
he
it.
does.
He slings
So
it
did
out.
Jamarcus Russell.
So does the pitching machine.
So did this kid I knew in 8th grade. He never played a down in football in his life. Next one, this one's easy. Skip Bayless.
Yes.
I've never seen a guy get paid so much to be wrong so many times on a sports show, other than David Cohn, of course. All right. I've never seen a guy look so bad in Jordans. All right. He does. I would trust a fart after I ate Taco Bell at 2 o'clock in the morning than I would trust Skip Bayless being right about anything. All right. Next one. This one's easy. Gen Z girls. I'm sick of it. All right. I don't care where your bag's from. All right. I don't care about your TikTok dances. Okay. I don't care about where the moon was where I was born. I'm not a Virgo. Okay. It's literally the same thing with these girls. You can literally copy and paste their personalities onto each other. Get some depth to your personality. The talking points are just all the same. I'm getting bored and I'm getting sick of it. All right. Next thing you know, women who can't decide where to eat. Don't tell me you're hungry, okay? Then I rattle off 20 suggestions. And it's just no.
That's so true.
It's getting to the point where either you choose or you're gonna starve to death. All right? One or the other. I'm done suggesting things. All right, the next one, Dave is gonna love this one, The Big Lebowski. It's
What
not
is
funny.
going on back
It's
here?
not funny. I might have laughed twice.
I don't think
the
it's that
entire
bad.
movie in The Big Lebowski. It's not funny. It's just not. I don't know why everybody gasses it up. I'd rather watch the other guys 10 times in a row than watch The Big Lebowski once. And that's just facts. All right, the next one, breakfast in general. Let's be honest. Who really likes breakfast?
I mean,
Who really likes breakfast? The only breakfast for champions if you got a nice cup of Black Rifle coffee.
There you go.
That's it. Little Lava Panther. What do you know about that? The next one, people, thank you. What you know about this? What's this one? Gunship. How about that? The next one, people use pronouns. I'm sick of it. All right?
At all?
I don't care if you're a Z, Zim, xylophone, or you call yourself Optimus Prime. You're not a wolf. You're not a cat. You're not a dog. You're either a dude or you're a chick. All right, man? It's just the way it is. Let's be honest. I'm not gonna throw out logic to satisfy your feelings. Yeah. All right, I'm just not gonna do it. Let's go. The next one, okay, the FBI. All right? We all know what you did. Okay? We all know what you did. You hid the Biden's laptop, and then you try to suppress people on Twitter. One, you should be ashamed of yourself. We're all ashamed of you, and you somewhat betrayed your country. Let's be honest. What else I got here? Let's go to.
You have more?
How much time do I have?
You keep going, dude.
Okay, let's go to. No, I don't like that. I don't like that.
Why'd you write
Zach
it?
Wilson. All right. I was there for you, dog. I was there for you. You rode with the fear. You had the cougar in the car. People expected a lot of things. You're not satisfying what you need to satisfy right now. You could change it all up tonight, all right? You're getting replaced by a guy who's just walking off a battleship and just now learning how to throw a football, and Mike White. So, Zach, figure it out, all right? You got BYU on your back, and you have like 3 wives who are all 40 plus. All right, and that's my it's mid for today.
Very nice. Nicely
right,
done.
that's my it's
Nicely
mid for
done.
today.
Well, I
Thank
don't
you.
agree with all of them. There are some that I really do agree with.
Thank you.
The
move
Big
this
Lebowski,
back.
I'm with you on it, man.
Oh, man. The Big Lebowski is a national treasure. It
It's
must be
not.
protected at all
Yeah.
costs.
Well-
Man, you waged war today on Pulp Fiction.
It's a mediocre movie, man. It's John
Breakfast?
Travolta.
I don't agree with that. I love
It's John Travolta. I mean, what do you mean?
I
What
just
do you mean
want
you
it to
don't
be
agree?
on record that you think Swordfish is a better movie than Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, it's on record.
I mean, you just went to war on breakfast, for God's sakes.
I mean,
No,
no one
I
like
can't
people
wait. I
who
can
like
feel
breakfast
the
are
chat
people who
right
just
now.
make excuses.
You know-
no one really likes breakfast.
I can feel the chat. I almost want to see what the Booster Club says before we get a chat.
when you said that you were coming after me after yesterday, after they get off
Yeah.
the lawn, I
You know-
expected it to be a little worse, but you know,
You want me to get back up there?
no, please don't. Please
What's
don't.
what's the Booster Club saying about it?
$5 donations from Don Higgins says mid. It's this hysterical segment. Appreciate that,
Yes,
brother.
It is great.
Darby Lou's in the chat. What's up, Darby?
Okay.
Pronouns is accurate, below mid. Thank you. I'm sick of it. Let's go
My
to
pronouns are don't call me that.
Like people who want preferred pronouns or people who just use pronouns. If I said he said something,
No,
I can
that's
say-
fine.
Okay.
No, if you use the correct pronoun of what he is,
Okay.
which is a he, then I'm cool with it. But you're not a Z, a Zer, a Zerg.
Well, it's like
Christmas tree.
we're turning people into Dr. Seuss characters.
Yeah, that's what it's,
Like
that's
every
what
time
it's
I walk
really
in the
turning
mall,
into.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I gotta be like, oh, a zigzagged and a zoobly zop.
Yeah. Also, I learned this week you're not allowed to say preferred pronouns because that means it's a choice. So I'm just letting you know.
What about
that's
preferred?
Stanford,
What about preferred?
and that's coming straight from Stanford, which you can take it to the bank.
Yeah.
Okay. Justin Decker says, agree with Blaine Golden Corral's mid. I mean, in my opinion, it's below mid.
I think
disgusting.
You're out of your mind, but
It's absolutely disgusting. Justin Decker, $2 donation says, Blaine, I'm crying.
yes.
Okay.
Good.
Reed Ricketson in track. She says, breakfast for dinner. I'll accept that.
Yeah,
I'll
breakfast
accept
for
that.
dinner's good.
Breakfast for lunch or dinner is okay. But no one gets up in the morning and is like, God, man, I just can't wait to eat 3 eggs.
Man, Reed made some soup last night, fellas.
What kind of soup?
Sausage and potato soup is just fantastic.
Noah Schultz says, the Brock Assweiler got me rolling. You like that one?
That was
You like
funny. That was good.
David H says, I don't know what segment this is, but I love it.
Yes.
It's mid segment. David Neffelkamp, food discrimination, breakfast food, lunch food, dinner food, food is food. Everyone's like, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Is breakfast?
I don't
for
eat
champions.
breakfast.
I don't eat breakfast.
drink coffee.
And I'm a champion and also a dragon.
All right, so I have to
Yes.
ask now, is breakfast a type of food to you, or is breakfast the time of day you eat the food? If I gave you a steak, a lot of people eat steak and eggs. If I give you steak for breakfast,
It's the time of day.
that's still
Yeah.
breakfast.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's the time of day.
Time of
Yeah.
day.
But if I give you scrambled eggs and bacon, like we had up here for lunch yesterday, at lunch, that's lunch.
I love it, dude. I'll eat. I ain't got no problem eating cereal for dinner. I'll Cookie Crisp this whole thing.
Darby Lou does that too.
Cookie Crisp is the most underrated cereal there is too. I had forgotten about it till I just thought about it just then.
I had forgotten about it until I just thought about it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Cone's lawn gnome.
Nice.
Cone's
Cone, Ohio
lawn
State
gnome?
is a need on the soundboard. We got on the soundboard, but he cheated.
Right here.
Yeah, he
CNN
cheated.
Hold on,
it.
it's right here.
cheated.
Michigan and Ohio State.
It's
You
that's,
CNN it.
that's
I didn't do it.
You suck for that.
Stuff was.
Oh, I know
redacted.
who did it. You know who did
Stuff
it.
was redacted.
His name spelled backward is Nair.
Is it?
Is it?
Mm.
Yeah, you're right. Reed Ricketts says, no, I wake up and immediately want 3 eggs over easy with grits and coffee.
Yep. There you go. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a normal
Everything's
human
wrong with
being
that.
right there.
Brunch, I'm cool with. I'm cool with brunch.
Why?
I'm understanding. It's just it's a time of the day.
I eat like brunch time is breakfast time for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. I don't wake up and I don't hop up and want 3 eggs.
Yeah,
You know what I do? I hop up, I'm excited, I get in my routine, get in the shower, get some coffee, pet the animals, tell Rita I love her, let's get out the door, let's mix it up, do a little more research, what broke overnight other than my heart. you know, and then
For
we figure it
Virginia
out
Tech.
from there.
Everything's off schedule now for us because, like, we're up at 4 a.m., right?
Yeah.
Getting ready for the show. I mean, I looked at Blaine one day when we finished the show. I was like, hey, do you want to go get some lunch? He said, it's 8 a.m. I was like, touche.
That's a good
but it's
point.
my second meal. 'Cause
We're
I had
living on the
granola
moon
bar
right
this
now.
morning.
Yeah, we're living on the moon right now.
So
That's definitely the truth. But I'm going to go ahead and get to our buddy Chad Brown. Great interview here talking about Colorado and Deion Sanders, talking about the Broncos and the NFL in general. Some great AFC West talk. You can find him literally everywhere. Dude is a hell of a player. Is doing a great job in the analyst game. Chad Brown, everybody, will be right back with us in our cool Christmas sweaters. But now we'll throw it to our interview with Chad. Very excited to be joined by a guy that was a hell of a player. You can at Colorado, part of the only national championship team, even though now with Deion Sanders coming back, they're a lot more, about as relevant as they've been since then. You can catch him talking about the Broncos. I'm going to let him tell you everywhere you can find him because he's all over the place. That's Mr. Chad Brown. Chad, I appreciate you coming on.
Well, thanks for having me on. And I didn't even know you paid attention to West Coast football. So nice to hear the kind words from you.
Yeah, no doubt, man. You know, and when it comes down to it, you know, as a fan of football, as a football purist, I guess, I would love for every region of the country to be good. I would love for USC and the brands out there, and you know, even teams like Oregon State with Jonathan Smith that I thought, you know, really overachieved this year and set the momentum and the pace for next year. I want the West to be good. I want Miami and Florida State to be good. I want the Northeast to be good. Somebody outside of Ohio State and Michigan. That's why the Big Ten's the second best conference, David. But we'll get to that later.
at this point, we'll take second.
Wisconsin.
But Chad, I want to start obviously with Colorado and you being, you know, the player that you were there and keeping tabs on that school and how important your alma mater is to you. Getting Deion Sanders and the boost that's already given the program. I said on the show, I feel like I've talked about Colorado more in the past 2 weeks than I've heard anybody talk about him in the past 10 years. What are your thoughts on the hire and what do you think it means for the university?
Well, what it means is folks like you are talking about Colorado football again.
Yep.
And it's been 20 years since we were part of the national conversation. So to bring in a coach like Deion Sanders, tip of the cap to Rick George, our athletic director, to recognize he needs to make a big move to bring the attention back to CU's program. You know, getting Deion Sanders does exactly that. So I don't think this is going to be a long-term fit. But I believe in the short term, we've already started to accomplish things that were needed to bring CU back to national prominence. Mm-hmm. The salary that we're paying Deion is now on par with other coaches. The pool of salary for the assistant coaches is now on par with other big-name football schools. This transfer rule, which has really hurt CU since the transfer portal opened up, you know, in similar ways hurt Stanford as well. The administration has made rules to change that. So we're now going to be on a little bit more of a level playing field with the rest of college football. So even if Deion takes off for greener pastures in a couple of years, now the next coach will be able to be in a much better position without some of those roadblocks being in place.
Yeah, it seems like Colorado's no longer bringing a knife to a gunfight anymore when it comes to, you know, not only in conference, and Cone's going to ask you a question about maybe Colorado's future from a conference standpoint, but I want to jump to a team that obviously you're very familiar with, the Denver Broncos, the AFC West. I mean, we've talked to KJ Wright. We've talked to a bunch of different guys that are obviously very vested in the NFL. And even we, going into the year, looked at the AFC West and was like, this is murderer's row. I mean, you could legitimately have every team make the playoff in this division. When you look at the Broncos, and I know you've had injury problems, and it seems like that's everywhere in the NFL, what do you think has been kind of the main problem in getting this team going in Coach Hackett's first year?
Well, let me just address some of the things you just brought up. In the preseason, I was telling people this may be the best division of quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah.
You know, that's when Russell Wilson joined, Justin Herbert and Derek Carr, Patrick Mahomes. And in some ways, this kind of has fallen flat. A lot of that is partially due to Russell Wilson. He has not been very good under center for the Broncos at all. Coach Hackett, new first-time head coach, I think has not utilized Russell Wilson to his best. But I think Pete Carroll and John Snyder up in Seattle are laughing a bit because they saw some of this decline and were able to get players, 5 draft picks in exchange for a player that they didn't see was going to get better, was only going to continue to get worse. Russell Wilson has clearly lost a step or two. And so for him to recapture it in his previous glory, he's got to run the football. But he did that 2 weeks ago and got himself knocked out the football game. So as an older quarterback who's losing physical skills, and doesn't have the makings of becoming Drew Brees, a true pocket passer. I'm not sure where the future is for Russell Wilson, but for this season, the Broncos have been an incredible disappointment because of those optimistic expectations going into this year. Tim Patrick, the receiver for the Broncos, who was lost for the year with an ACL, said Super Bowl or bust during training camp. This team's not even going to have a winning record, much less Super Bowl or bust. So the amount of injuries have hurt. First-time head coach has hurt. But in the end, this is a lot goes on Russell Wilson's shoulders. But we in the media are also guilty of putting too high of a level of expectations upon a team that just wasn't prepared to meet those level of expectations.
Yeah, and the thing about Russell Wilson, when I think of him at his most dangerous, obviously the run game in Seattle helped, but being able to extend the play not only inside of the pocket with his eyes, but outside of the pocket. I mean, how many times do we see Russell Wilson just kill people on broken plays when it's a scramble drill? Now it doesn't seem like he's elusive as he was, and that's what happens when you get older. I think that's been a problem as well,
yeah. Chad, I want to go back to the Pac-12 for a moment. I had a lot of fun watching Pac-12 football this season. Southern California back in the playoff conversation for the first time in a long time. You look at what Bo Nix was able to do at Oregon. Washington with Michael Penix Jr., even Oregon State this past weekend, very impressive bowl victory. Utah back-to-back champions. It was the most elite football I've seen from the Pac-12 in quite a while. Now we're going to see USC and UCLA both leave for the Big Ten in just a matter of a few seasons. Tim Brando came on here and said he thinks that one of the reasons Deion Sanders took the Colorado job is potentially with the Buffaloes moving back to the Big 12. I wanted to get your thoughts. What is the future of the Pac-12, and what do they have to do to continue this recent success that they've had?
Well, I am on the alumni council for the Pac-12. So a couple times a year, we get a chance to either meet in person with the commissioner or we do a conference call. And obviously, at our meeting just a day before the Pac-12 championship game, things were feeling great within the Pac-12. You listed a lot of those on-the-field success stories for them this year. And they say the reason why they've had so much success is they've gotten school presidents and athletic directors to invest in their football programs, facilities, expanding staffs, recruiting staffs, things like that. And it's paying dividends as far as national rankings go. The loss of USC and UCLA is going to be a blow to the Pac-12, no doubt about that. But the cupboard is not going to be bare. You talked about Washington and Utah and Jonathan Smith and Oregon State making a push forward. He's been building that program steadily for a couple of years out there. I think, yes, the Southern California market is obviously a huge blow to lose those two teams, but there's enough good football left where I don't think it's going to be like we thought earlier this year that Washington and some other schools are going to be leaving, the next schools to leave. I think the Pac-12 is strong enough as a conference now. Whoever they bring in to make it 12 teams again probably won't fit the stature of USC or UCLA, but hopefully they'll add to the overall competitive of the conference. And I left the championship weekend, despite the loss by USC, which eliminated them from the playoffs, feeling good about the Pac-12, where it's going, the investment of money and the resources to move this football back to where it's, again, part of the national conversation. And hiring Deion Sanders to go to the very first part of this call is a big move towards that as well.
Cone, isn't it funny how, like, with this conference realignment, it was like, oh, the Big 12 is going to be dead. Then all of a sudden it's a Big 12 resurgence. Then it's, oh, the Pac-12 is going to be dead. And now the Pac-12 is back.
Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap.
It seems to me like the dominoes are kind of falling a little bit different than what people thought.
Exactly. The three of us were together at SEC Media Days the moment that it was announced Texas and Oklahoma would leave for the SEC. Well, since that time, it's been announced that the Big 12 is going to get almost half a dozen new schools with Houston and Cincinnati and Central Florida. So, Chad, what schools do you think the Pac-12 should call to replace the likes of USC and UCLA?
I think they still want to play the geography game.
Yeah.
I don't think they want to become the Big Ten with schools spread out all over the country.
Yeah.
So, schools in San Diego make sense. UNLV makes sense. So there's, schools that fit within the Pac-12 footprint. There's no true, I don't think, leader in the clubhouse right now. The commissioner is going to take his time with this, but I think first and foremost for him is getting the media deal done. And this is the only media deal available for networks for the next 8 years. So the Pac-12 to kind of kick the can down the road on their media deal, to bring Deion Sanders to Colorado, which obviously is going to draw a lot of attention. The success of the Pac-12 this season, I think the commissioner has played this media thing really well. I think the Big Ten's getting about $66 million a year per team. The Big 12's about $33 million a year per team. If the Pac-12 can come in the middle of that, those schools are going to be very happy with the commissioner and how he was able to navigate some pretty tricky waters this year.
UNLV's interesting. Just hired Barry Odom and Bobby Petrino as the OC. They've always been kind of sneaky to me out there. It's kind of like Georgia in basketball. How are you not good? I don't understand it. But
dangerous. UNLV could be dangerous pretty quickly. But I want to stay out west. Let's go to Lincoln Riley and USC, another Heisman winner, Caleb Williams, but doesn't make the playoff and doesn't win his elusive national championship. Will Lincoln ever win a national championship at USC?
I think he can. I think he can. USC has always gotten tremendous talent from Southern California, obviously a recruiting hotbed. So when folks were talking about can Deion Sanders do what Lincoln Riley has done at USC in just 1 year, I think the cupboard's far more bare at Colorado than it ever has been at USC. They've had problems with on-the-field coaching. They've had some program problems. They haven't had a problem with talent. So I think Lincoln Riley can bring some structure to a program that has lacked it for quite a bit of time and continue to recruit elite talent out there. And let's face facts. When Caleb Williams is at the Heisman Trophy ceremony, all Gucci suited out, that sells to 17-year-olds.
For sure.
I'm 52 years old. You know what I mean? When I was being recruited, it was a far different landscape. That might not have sold to me. But 17-year-old who Lincoln Riley's sitting on this couch and is talking about Caleb Williams and he's all Gucci suited, that's going to sell. That's going to pay dividends. The glitz and glam of USC, couple that with the track record of Heisman Trophy winners and All-Americans and all the success they've had over there for a long period of time. I don't think USC is too far away from competing year in and year out for a national championship.
USC right now, it's a sexy place to play.
It's always been a sexy place.
Well, right now, I mean, it's Hansel hot right now. Let's be honest.
Wow.
Hey, but I know we talked about Pac-12. Let's go full landscape here at college football. We got our 4 teams in the college football playoff. Who do you have winning the championship? And has anybody beaten Georgia?
I'll go last question first. No one's beaten Georgia. These other teams, I think they all put up a good fight. I love what Jim Harbaugh has done in Michigan and the physical nature in which they play football, winning up front with the offensive and defensive lines, kind of imposing your will, old school football. I love that. But Georgia is just so talented and so far ahead of these programs. I don't think there's any way for anyone to upset Georgia from repeating.
Yeah, I mean, Stetson Bennett, a.k.a. Van Wilder's in year 9 at quarterback. I mean, the dude's playing with house money. But, Chad, man, please tell everybody where they can find your work. We got to get you back on soon. We know the stories in the NFL and college are going to keep pumping. It's evergreen content. But tell our audience where they can find you and your outstanding stuff.
All right, you can always find me at Chad Brown 94 on Twitter. I've got my daily radio show on 104.3 The Fan in Denver. You can always go to the website and listen to my show as well. And then I'm on Compass Media almost every single weekend, either doing college football or NFL football. So if there is a camera or microphone to talk into during football season, chances are I'm doing just that.
That when you cover the NFL and college, that's a dual threat.
Hey,
five-tool player. Chad, we really appreciate your time. And I do one question before you go. 1990 Colorado, I talked about this the other day. When you're on the sidelines, did you know there was 5 downs and did everybody just not say anything? Like nobody say anything to anybody. Let's see if they actually let us do it.
No, there was some conversation, folks who were keeping track of downs. Jay Lewinberg, our center, actually told Coach McCartney on the sideline, we can't spike the ball. That's 4th down. And everyone told him to shut up. And they pointed to the scoreboard and the down markers.
That's right.
So Jay was the one guy, at least in that offensive huddle, who knew what was happening. I knew there were some conversations going on the sidelines. But for this, I will always say karma is an interesting thing. Missouri had a very early version of field turf, which is now prominent in football everywhere, where it was the longer style turf versus that old style turf. And per the manufacturer's instructions, that turf needed to be hosed down before the game to keep the sand that was inside of that turf from coming up to the top. Our coaches recorded 75 unassisted slips and falls by CU players during film review. So on that touchdown drive where we needed the 5th down to score that touchdown, there were 2 plays where Colorado players had the end zone in front of them and just slipped and fell due to the field conditions. So Missouri tried to pull a fast one over on us, and the football gods bit back. We still got
Yes,
the national championship, and we won on fifth down.
There it is. Look, karma is a fickle mistress.
And it's always the center.
That's why I said,
the
if
center knows.
somebody ran in, whether when I was playing or when I was coaching, if somebody ran in, put a gun to my head and said, one player on this team has to do your taxes, and if they get it wrong, you're dead. I'm going straight into the offensive line room, and I'm going straight to the center.
Yep.
That's the only guy I'm trusting to do it, not the quarterback, not even the middle linebacker. Give me the center. They're always the smartest guy in the group. But speaking of the smartest guy in the group, Chad, it's always great to have you on, my friend. Let's do it again soon.
This was a blast. I really enjoyed it, fellas. Have a good one.
Chad Brown, great stuff.
That was
there,
fun, man.
Was a heck of a player as well. It was awesome to get Chad on. All right, remember, if you want to watch the rest of this, all right, you head over to the Daily Wire Plus and become a member. If you want to stay here, you can listen, or you can listen on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe and leave a 5-star review. That's big for us when you tell us how we do. Even if you leave 5 stars and want to make fun of us, that's fine. I'm totally good with it. You need to make sure you share it with your friends. We're coming right back with bets, and the fantasy football playoff matchups are here. All right, gentlemen, before I drop the bets, let's talk about it. Fantasy football playoffs. Y'all aren't playing each other. Who do you got?
I'm playing Clavin.
How are you
playing
feeling?
Clavin? Just lost to him last week. I've lost to him 3 times this season.
How does that make you feel, though?
I feel, look, he has a great team. But here's a move that's interesting that he just made. He has Dak Prescott at quarterback, and he just benched Dak, and he's going to play Geno Smith. And I'm wondering, is that because I have CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz? And should I take Dalton Schultz out? I've been playing David Njoku, but he's questionable this week. And I moved Dalton Schultz in there to kind of offset Dak Prescott
And
being his
Njoku's
quarterback.
so hit or miss. I know he's had a good year, but, I mean, Dalton Schultz, he's been the security blanket. I mean, you know that the Cowboys are...
They're playing Philly. They're not going
to be able to... I don't think the Cowboys are going to be able to line up and run it very well, so I don't think, playing CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz is a bad idea at all.
Well, I think it depends on 2 things for me. Does Jalen Hurts play, and how do my backs play? I picked up Dallas Goedert when he was on the IR. He's playing this weekend, which is huge for me because my weakest position has always been tight end. I've been having Tyler Higbee play that. He did have 12 points last week, but you can't trust Tyler Higbee in that new Rams offense. It's just a disaster right now. Jalen Hurts right now is still questionable. He missed practice the last 2 days, but they're still up in the air about whether or not he's going to play Saturday. Jalen Hurts has carried me most of this year with the way he's been playing. So if he doesn't play, I picked up TB12. Wasn't a lot of great options on the waiver wire, but I did what I could. I need to get past this week. If I can get past this week, I have a chance. It's going to come down to Zeke and Alvin Kamara for me. They got to show up when it matters most.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get a matchup of y'all two in the championship so somebody from Cran & Co. will win it.
There you go.
After what everybody and the gods did to me, scoring the 3rd most points in the league. But we're not going to talk about that. I'm going to get to the bets in the Booster Club. Last night, where I talked about it, Virginia Tech, wish nothing but bad things for you. Just wish nothing but bad things for you. But tonight, we're moving on. New day. We talk about a 0-0 mentality. It happens when you don't hit the bets, too. All right, so give me the Jags plus 3.5 and the over 29.5. That's at plus 115. And then give me, in the bowl game tonight, interesting matchup, Baylor and Air Force here. The Bears versus Plains. Think we know who win that one. Give me Baylor money line and the under 49.5. That's at plus 130. Look, we're almost up plus 10 units this month. Feeling good about it. And guys, can I just say, and I'm not just saying this because Laura B is a fan of the show, this is the best beef jerky I've ever had.
It's really good.
All right, I ate the whole bag yesterday. It's gone. But, Cone, what do you got?
All right. I told you I'm going Thursday night NFL football on my picks. I'm going to stick by that. I like your first bet there, Jake. I'm going to go Jags plus 4.5 plus the over at 30.5. That's at plus 120. I like that dog bet. And then Zay Jones, anytime touchdown. I mean, what do you have, 3 last week, Blaine? Something like that? Zay Jones, anytime touchdown tonight at plus 300.
Blanye.
All right, this is what I'm taking. Give me the Jags plus 3.5 and the over at 30.5. That's plus 140. I don't understand the second bet, how I have 2 less points and my odds are worse than yours with 2 extra points. So I'm obviously going to change that bet. Give me Garrett Wilson anytime touchdown plus 210. So I'm going to switch out to Garrett Wilson, ATT, anytime touchdown plus 210.
Wait, you're switching yours to Garrett Wilson?
Yeah, so let's look at this. Baylor money line, and you have the under at 49.5. That's plus 130. I have Baylor money line.
Well, I did mine
under
last
at
night. I texted mine in the group last night.
47.5. That's plus 125. Still, a 2-point difference is plus five odds. That makes no sense at all. So give me Garrett Wilson plus 210 anytime touchdown.
Okay.
Plus 210, Garrett Wilson.
You're not doing Baylor money line in the under. You're going to do Garrett Wilson.
Yep.
All right, Baby Cone's going Baylor money line in the Air Force TTP over 9.5. Then he wants Trevor Lawrence to have more touchdown passes than this is my line. Then Zach Wilson. That's going off at minus 135. Couldn't fit Zach Wilson, so I wrote Z Will. What's the Booster Club saying, Blaine?
All right, we had a poll from donation from Andy Watley, $5 donation. He says, nice rant, Blaine. Appreciate it. He says, I agree. Big Lebowski's not funny. Fargo, Raising Arizona, and Old Brother Where Art Thou are all much funnier from the Coens.
See, that's
Fargo's funny.
That's interesting. So you think Fargo is funny?
I think Fargo and Old Brother Where Art Thou is funny.
Okay, so see, that's interesting because I'm a huge Coen Brothers fan, which is why I love The Big Lebowski. I don't love Raising Arizona, though.
I've never seen
I
Raising
really don't
Arizona.
love it. It was their second movie after Blood Simple, before Miller's Crossing. I'm not a big fan of
neither
that.
of those two either.
Man, I'll tell you what, you should see both of those. Blood Simple, especially Miller's Crossing. One of my favorite Coen Brothers.
I love Brother We're Out There. It's a really good
Oh,
movie.
Brother Where Art Thou? Yeah. I like that one too.
Let's go to Kevin Cooper. It says, late to the show, Booster Club. It's okay. We'll forgive you just this time, though. Merry Christmas, though. Stay safe in your Midwest with the snow squall coming in.
Yeah.
Stay warm. A lot of snow coming in tonight.
A lot of snow. We're even going to get some here, I think, tonight.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to Reed Ricketts. Says, Blaine, if she won't pick a restaurant, just always suggest Bar Taco. It's always a winner.
That's a good point.
Just pick something.
And I do have to say, Reed came up with the name Easton. So it'd be Easton Kurt, but she's not pregnant yet.
Spy Guy 024 says Ronnie Hillman, running back guys for Broncos, dies of cancer at 31.
Yeah, I saw that. Awful.
Who was
awful?
that,
Ronnie
Ronnie
Hillman.
Hillman.
Oh, yeah.
Young, 31. Unbelievable.
David Neffelkamp says breakfast is technically whatever breaks your fast from sleep. If you take a nap and wake up and eat that as breakfast,
He's
if
right.
you continue a fast several hours after you wake up, it's still breakfast.
He's right.
That's what they call it breakfast.
Breaking the fast, technically.
Then why the hell do they call it lunch?
Actually,
And what in God's name does dinner mean?
I actually think dinner used to mean lunch. So it was breakfast, dinner, and then supper. But now, people say lunch, so we moved dinner back.
Supper?
That's, hey.
Supper is the most southern word there is. You want some supper?
Did y'all say supper growing up?
My dad would say supper sometimes.
Yeah, that's what we said.
He grew up in Sylacauga.
I've never heard
the
that.
That's
math
what we
adds
said.
up on that.
Hey, it's supper time.
Let's go to Stephen Ogden. It says, going back to Golden Corral for a second, I once saw someone at Golden Corral with a full plate of food topped with steak, garnished with a glizzy. I was simultaneously impressed and disgusted at the same time.
Yeah, you can't put a steak and a glizzy on the same plate.
Yeah.
That's not how we do things in this country. That's very...
You might need to be watched.
How North Korean.
You might need to be watched for 6 months.
Yeah,
You know,
like there
it's
needs
one
to
of
be
those
some
situations.
surveillance. Where were you when this person disappeared? We need to start asking that question.
Red Nose Reddy says, I just started watching the show last week. Welcome. Never really have been much of keeping up on sports, but you guys are definitely making me more interested in keeping up with sports and my Missouri team.
Yeah,
Red Nose Ready. Welcome
Hey,
to
need the over in the bowl game.
Yeah.
Need the over in the bowl game.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Sister Rick says, I have a Blaine badge now. Blaine is going to lose. Well, if we lose, we're going to lose together, Sister Rick.
Sister Riggs, wait, what?
And that's okay to me.
No.
Man,
Sister Riggs, I need you to get that Jake badge back.
Breaks my
I need
heart,
that Jake
Sister
badge.
Riggs.
No, it looks right on you, Sister
No,
Rick,
it doesn't.
for sure.
You know, it's that orange badge. You
Kyle
know.
Kennedy, hashtag Ask Cranico, told my daughter Santa wants steak and whiskey instead of milk and cookies.
Yes.
Good or mid-parenting move?
Great
Elite
parenting move. She's now better than she was because you told her the truth. And Kyle, we're going to get you the address to send that Arkansas stuff up here. He said we need some Arkansas stuff on the set.
Oh, I love that. Travis Elrod says, oh, by the way, yesterday I got Michael Knowles to say Flaming Dragon on his All Access.
Nice. We got all access today at 10 Central.
Me and Michael Knowles might be, collabing on some stuff.
Wow.
You know,
Flaming
maybe
Dragon mixtape?
Coming to a front door near you.
Look, Knowles was rocking the puka shell necklace the other day on the show.
I saw that. What do
That's a
y'all,
lost bet.
The Orange Beach special.
what y'all think about puka shell necklaces?
I'm not wasn't a fan.
All
Or the
right.
shark tooth necklace. Look, I'm going down there. I'm wearing the chain. That's how it is.
You rocking
Two
the-
chains,
rocking
but
the
I got
chain?
me a few on.
Love that. All right, Paul.
Cole,
Whose sweater's the best?
it's got to be mine.
David's, Haki's, or Blaheen's?
Blaheen.
Blaheen's, that's Jake's.
Blaheen sounds like Pakistani. It doesn't sound Spanish.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with
What's
that.
wrong with that? Why'd you say it like that?
I didn't say it like anything.
Okay.
I think they said me. I want to talk in third person.
Such a me guy.
I think I said me. 47%.
I think it said Blaine,
They
45%.
didn't say me. David,
Yeah?
23%. Jake, 62%.
Ooh, it's a bloodbath.
Blaine,
Oh,
15.
God.
It is
That
an old-fashioned bloodbath.
That right there?
I'm gonna wear that shirt that says
That's
in
a
front
pity
of it,
vote.
one that says ask me about my team.
Wait,
Wait, hold on. What was the question?
What?
Was it who had
has
the best ugly sweater?
Who has the best sweater?
Okay, the best sweater.
And I won, David, by a landslide. I Ronald Reagan'd all three.
Yeah, you did. It's
Right
hideous.
there. Oh, man. The Christmas tree. I can't get over this.
I just love when you point at me and laugh hysterically.
It's the
It's
best.
great.
like,
Are you going to wear that all day?
probably. I'm
You
wearing
wearing for all access?
Yes.
Let's go.
We are
You got it.
our all access is at 10 a.m. Central on the Daily Wire Plus. Be there or be a loser.
Charles Moore says, I've been rocking the cone badge all year. Figure it out.
Time to change.
Travis Elrod says,
Time
I've
to
got the
change.
Jake badge. Figure it out.
No, Travis, me
No,
and you,
I'm
buddy,
saying,
right
hold on,
here.
Who
Where
had the
my
cone
mouth
badge?
is. Where my
Charles
mouth is.
Moore.
Charles Moore.
All right, one more.
You want your question asked? Maybe I need to start seeing a little bit
No,
more.
no, don't do that. Don't do that's BS because nobody.
Can we
I
get a
don't have
second
that
iPad
leverage.
in here, please?
Yeah.
Happy Lad says, my grandfather was diagnosed cancer-free yesterday.
Yes.
Come on, baby.
Let's go,
big
baby.
wins.
What a win.
Big
I love that.
wins.
On that note, so was Darby's mom.
How about
Let's
that?
go.
Go. Come
Hell
on.
of a day
Wins all
yesterday.
around.
Look, that's
Wins
our,
all
we're-
around.
We're leaving it there.
Yeah, I think we leave it at that
we're
as
leaving
well.
it there. Make sure you subscribe, follow us, turn that notification bell on. Go subscribe to the Daily Wire Plus. It's a great way to keep growing the show, and it's going to be a lot of fun for you because we have unbelievable content. They got kids content coming. The Daily Wire, to quote DJ Khaled, we taking over. I don't know another way to tell you that. And like the chances of Mike White's ribs being okay tonight, we're going, gone.